Perfect. How's it going?
Good. How are you? Good to see you again.
Doing well. Yeah, thank you. All right. So I know you wanted to get an episode kind of rolling today and get past that initial hurdle that you were kind of facing.
The,
Um,
the 2-year hump.
the 2-year hump.
I don't know
Okay.
what it is, but every time I get to this point, I don't have to have it perfect. Or maybe, I don't know if we can do it today, but I just want to know, like, wow, I got to get past, maybe it's just the hump, and then I
Yeah.
get the rest of the way.
Did you buy the software or anything like that? Or
No.
what do you? No.
It's so funny because it was such a great hour and I had so much stuff and I was so pumped. And then I went into Podbean and I got lost. It was kind of like, go to Disneyland. It's really awesome. And then you go in there and it's like, fuck, look at all these rides. I don't know what to do first.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So I think you recommend I get some, as long as I know whatever I need, because I trust you on this, to get up and going, I can do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think for you, number one is remind me, you have your equipment, right? I mean, you have the microphone. You're ready.
Yep.
You're ready that way.
Yeah, here's
Okay.
my baby.
Okay, looks good. Yeah, sounds good. So, have you recorded anything yet?
Not in Podbean. Not in.
Okay. Well, you don't have to record it in Podbean though. You can take a file and put it in Podbean. I mean, I don't record anything in Podbean. So typically, if you'll recall, I'm usually running a software like this, Camtasia.
Mm-hmm.
And like, at least for this podcast, this is, again, we talked a little bit about this, I believe, last time, but this is a bonus episode that all this was this client did a Facebook Live yesterday, and he did it from his podcast studio. He has a podcast studio, so that's a little fancy, but he did a Facebook Live. We did, if you zoom in here, you can see we did an intro bumper and we do an outro bumper, and then we just put the audio of the Facebook Live and we publish it as an episode. And the video part doesn't. I don't publish the video. This was a video file. If I wanted to, I could remove the video, but I'm gonna publish it both ways. So I publish it as a video and as an audio file.
Mm-hmm.
And then the audio only file goes on Podbean, and the video file can go on YouTube or Facebook or wherever.
I think I might have asked you this, and I'm going to ask you again because I can't remember.
Okay.
I have this eerie feeling, and it's just my perception because of my clients, that a lot of people say they really, really like my voice. I've heard that my whole life. I have a speaker's voice, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I got a feeling that I just did a video, a 60-second video that I posted on Facebook.
Okay.
And I just narrated it. And I got a lot of compliments on my voice, right? But I have this concern that my client or my niche will not be so much somebody that watches a podcast, because I certainly don't. Mm-hmm. But I listen to podcasts. I listen to Darren Rouse. You probably know Darren, the blogger, mm-hmm. the Australian guy. Seth Godin.
Oh yeah, Seth definitely.
Yeah. Check out my.
The thing is, that goes out as an audio. What he recorded there yesterday goes out as an audio podcast. So that's not going out. I mean, it's going out. It can go out as video also, but it goes out as an audio podcast on iTunes.
Go down to the second one, right below this woman. This is today's post. Actually, down one more.
Okay.
And you'll see this down one more.
Yeah, 1 second. It's like.
Oh yeah, freezing.
Yeah, it's freezing. Yeah, it goes slow when I'm sharing.
There it is.
This one here.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know how to download these videos?
All I'm doing is, how did I do this one?
Well, you might have recorded this one and uploaded it, but if it's like a Facebook Live, what I do is you can do this. You can right click on them, mm-hmm. and then you can get the URL And again, the computer's going real slow here, so let's see if it's going to cooperate with me. I'm going to pause it real quick.
Okay.
I'm going to right-click on it. I'm going to click on Show Video URL. I use a software. There's a couple ways you can do this, but what I do is I go to a website called fbdown.net.
Mm-hmm.
So you should write that down, fbdown.net, because if you do a Facebook Live, you can do the same thing. I paste that link, which is the video link, right here. I click on download, and then it'll give me an option for an HD or a normal quality. If I'm going for just, if I only want the audio, I'm probably just going to get the normal quality, smaller. So just click on that. It'll pull it up here, and then I have one more step. I have to now I can save. I can right click and save video as, and I could just save it, and now it's downloading.
Sometimes you have to take some time to breathe.
So now I have that file, which is pretty small. It's because it's not that long, but it's 2.8 megabytes. And I guess we'll just kind of demo this. So let's let me do a new project. Okay, so that file, it's just about done here, and I just did a new project in Camtasia, but I would just drag this over into Camtasia now that I downloaded it. I would then take the video here, put it on the timeline, and then I can, from here, I mean, if I wanted to, I could add an intro and an outro, or whatever I want to do, and I can also, to make it obviously just audio, I can click on, I can right-click the timeline, and I can pick separate audio and video. So now it makes the video part separate from the audio, and I could just remove the video, which will make the file even smaller. And now we have this, and I don't know if you can hear it or not, I doubt it.
Yeah, I can.
Sometimes you have to take some time to breathe, with your entire soul.
Okay, but the point is here I have this. If I wanted to, I could click on audio effects, and if you had like background noise, I could use the noise removal filter. If you had something I wanted to fade out at the end, I could. Here you're not going to need any of this. If I wanted to speed up your voice and make you sound like Mickey Mouse, I could, or slow you down. I could use this, and I could change the, it's just one of those voice slow down, speed up kind of things. But from here, all I would have to do is go to share. I wouldn't export audio only. I go to local file here. I would do an M4A file, export it. I just leave the highest bit rate as the option here. It's kind of showing you the process, and I would give it a name. Call it, I don't know what to call it, but bonus episode is probably not going to be that. But I render it. Doesn't take long because this file is so small. So now it's rendered. It's done, and I'm going to have it in my file. No, okay, I'm going to come back into Podbean now real quick. And I'm not gonna. I think I have your information. Let me check. I'm gonna put it in Podbean. We're not gonna publish it as an episode, but I'm gonna show you how to do it. Okay, I don't. Let me just go into. Well, I'll just demo where I would do it, I guess. So.
Okay, let me just ask something.
Yeah.
I mean, I think maybe this is my problem. I mean, you're doing it like it's general math, and it's coming across as calculus to me. I mean, I can do it. I mean, I can see what you're doing, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe I have an unrealistic viewpoint. I don't think I do, but maybe you could just help me with this. It's like, I just don't understand why I can't, in 1 hour, I have my microphone, I have Podbeam or Audacity or something, and just, hey, Dave Worthen's got a podcast where he says for 20 minutes how to raise your sales.
Gotcha.
I mean, just put, hey, we're in sixth grade, whatever. Here's some clay. Now I want you to make an ashtray as best you can. You've got an hour. It's like, I mean, I gotta have I gotta hit that ball down the fairway at least once in my lesson for correcting my slice.
Yeah.
And I know the pro is trying to tell me where to put my fingers and where to put my elbow and where to put my arm, and it's like, it all makes sense, but it's like, man, well, I'm missing something.
So a couple things. Number one is a lot of the podcast pros out there will tell you that it's going to, when you start, it's going to be awkward and it's not going to be great. It's like any other skill. You can compare it to driving your car.
Right.
When you first get behind the wheel, it's a little bit scary and maybe you're okay at it, but you're probably not as good as you are now at driving a car, or something you can do without even thinking about it.
Right.
It's a skill that has to be developed a lot like that. Now, there's a couple of different formulas that you can use it sounds like you're having some hang-ups around the content a little bit, also when you're recording yourself. Is that correct?
No.
You're not. Okay.
Like, for instance, if you go back to my website or my Facebook page, whatever, I just posted an article, which is, I do one every week. I host it I have a blog over on BB, and I've already got, within an hour, 200 people that have read this thing. And I had one last week. It went up to 1,000 people have read. I could take this article and read it in my voice, and then use that to, maybe this is my idea, use that as a podcast for people who are driving to work thinking like, hey, I don't really have time to read your article, but wow, this is awesome. I can click this link on my iPhone on the way to work, plug it into my car radio or whatever, and listen to you, deliver this. Like I said, just as starting content, there are people that don't have a chance to read me, who don't read me at all. They tell me like, we love your videos, but I don't read. Okay, how about when you're driving to your kid's soccer game back and forth in New York, you want to listen to me? Yeah, I'd love to. You had got something I can listen to.
Oh, yeah,
maybe I've got the wrong. I know there's somebody the other day showed me a place called Speak It or Speak Something, and you can just go in and do a verbal file, a voice file. I don't know if I'm making this too complicated. I just think I'm kind of hyped up by the fact that podcasting is a continuously growing medium, and I for some reason I want to get on it. And I know I'm going to make mistakes, just like hitting that ball down the fairway. I'm going to slice 8 of them and get 2 of them to go. But I just got to know what to do so I can keep getting it to go, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I do think you're overcomplicating a little bit, because to begin with, really what I'd like to see is you record content. So if you can record content, we can get it published as episodes. That's step one, is just sitting down. If you read your blog post, I think that's great. I actually think that's a great idea, because I'm one of those people that doesn't like to sit down and read a lot. But I'm constantly listening to audiobooks. I'm constantly, listening to online courses and things like that. Like that's in my car. I don't listen to music in my car. I only have audiobooks.
Me too. That's what I do too. I kind of music went out with Sirius XM, which I had for a number of years, and I don't have it anymore.
So I think that's a great idea. So for you, the big thing is just sitting down and recording. So the best way to record it is either to have something like Camtasia, or to get, if you have Audacity, you can use Audacity. That's the free one. So Audacity is an alternative, and it works. It records very well. It's a little bit, I think it's more complicated for editing than Camtasia, but they both work well. They're both good tools. And Audacity, you can just kind of come in here and you can just start a file. I mean, you're really just pressing record, and right now it's actually recording me talking to you. But that's all I'm doing. I'm just pressing record. I'm speaking into my mic. I mean, I'd want to set my settings a little bit better. But I mean, if you think about it, it's as simple as that. All I'm doing is I'm coming into the program. I'm pressing record. I'm first making sure my microphone is on the right settings. I'm making sure that my pop filter is in the right place. I'm making sure that I'm mentally prepared to deliver my podcast, whatever that is for you. Whether you have to do your ritual to get ready for it.
Right. So maybe I could do this in 2 steps. My desire is probably to go to Camtasia, but it's kind of like, well, before I do calculus, let me do math, algebra 2, then calculus. Maybe I start with Audacity just to get my feet wet, actually do a blog, because I haven't even done that. Do a blog by voice.
Yeah. Because
I think in here one time it shows you how to edit out the ums and the ahs too, right?
You can do everything you can do in Camtasia in here. So it's just not as intuitive, in my opinion, and Camtasia does a little bit more because it has the video functionality too. But if you're not doing video, then this might be enough for you, because it's actually a good program.
Right.
And what's nice is now that I have this file here, I mean, I'm not editing it right now, but all I would have to do is press export audio, and I can export it as a MP3. Which again, the files that are accepted are MP3 or M4A.
Okay.
But both of those options are available in this program. So I would just export as an MP3 probably. And that's it. I have this, and then I could this would be a file that I could load into Podbean, and it would be a Podbean episode.
Okay, now freeze frame.
Yep.
All right, so that, I feel like I can get in the Formula One car and go 10 miles an hour, okay? All right, so then let's go from the fact that we take this file and now walk me through putting it over to Podbean.
Okay. So let me just show you. So I'm going to export the audio as a file. So we'll actually grab this file.
Okay.
And I'll just call this Podbean test. And I don't know where it's going. So let me throw it into like a download folder where I know where I can find it.
Sure.
There we are.
We keep all these little settings down here the same. You didn't change any of those. Okay.
Yeah, and then here, these are meta tags, which is for SEO. And this actually does communicate with iTunes, and they have this on Camtasia also. This is optional. You don't have to fill this out. I would, but you could just kind of fill it out. Dave Worthen, give the episode 1, and then for the title, that would be the name of your show.
Okay.
So podcast show name. I guess this would be episode 1, and then that up there would be the title. This would be the topic.
Okay.
So this would be more like the topic of episode.
Okay.
And then this would be like business or personal development or whatever you're covering. And that's it. I wouldn't put anything in comments, but
okay.
So I do that. This is just for SEO and help you in search. That's all it does.
Yep.
And then I click OK.
Okay.
And that's already done. So now I'm going to come back to Podbean, and I'm going to log in as myself just so I don't.
Now, let me ask you something while you're there. Can you take over my computer and go into my Podbean?
Well, you could share your login with me, and I can go in there. You could share your login information is how I would take over it.
Oh, you mean into Podbean?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do they ask for? Email and
yeah, just username or email and password is all.
Yeah. It should be just my email, which is daveworthen@gmail.com.
Okay. Well, I'll come back to that in a second here.
Okay. All right.
So I don't have a published podcast right now, so this is just a profile I have.
Okay.
But the point is, I wanted to show you if I wanted to do it, I would come to publish, or you could right there was published. But here's my here are the episodes, and I got to move all these little our video. So in the upper right corner, I don't know, you might have to move the video of us. but in the upper right corner, there's a blue button that says Publish New Episode. You see that up here?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I would click on that.
Okay.
And then it's going to say, well, I'm not worried about this. This is because I haven't confirmed everything. But
okay, I remember this from last week. Okay, so yeah. I got you. All right. So
I'm just going to choose file to upload. It wants me to confirm my email. So again, this is an account that I'm not running an active podcast on, but I would just confirm file here. Well, let me try going into yours, and I'll upload that other file, the one of you narrating from Facebook Live.
Okay.
Let's see here. So log in. So what was your email?
DaveWorthen@gmail.com.
And the password?
It should be capital WORTHEN and then the number 1953. Shoot.
Mm-mm.
Wow. Okay, try W. I mean my.
We could get your email one more time. Sorry, it took.
Yeah, sure. DaveWorthen@gmail.com.
Actually, sure. Okay. DaveWorthen@gmail. And what do you think it might be?
Capital W. Make sure the W is capitalized. ORTHEN 1453. God damn it. I can't believe it. Let me see. I'm in there. Let me just see. How do I get back to my screen?
Oh, well, I'll just stop the share. Make it easy for you.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to go in and change my password because I thought it was the same.
Okay.
Oh, it asked for my current password. God damn it.
Do you have it saved at all anywhere?
Podbean. I can't believe it. I use pretty much the same one.
Maybe it's lowercase, or I don't know. Let me try it one more time. So you said it was 1953?
Yeah.
Let me just see if I maybe typed it in wrong or something. No.
Oh, well. I'm going to put in the old one and see. Oh, it tells me it's incorrect. Okay, good. Wow, that's just crazy.
Do you have a password software or a saver or anything like that?
No, I usually write them all down. I probably just forgot to write this one down and just went, oh, I know, because Podbean, that's right, let me go in one more time. I was already in this a year ago.
Oh, okay. That might be why.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I don't know how I'm going to change it now because it's not taking anything that I gave it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll just have to follow you and just wing it.
They have a they have a forgot password link on. If you log out, you could do forgot password, and then they could email it to you. That's the only way to really reset it at this point. Then you'd have to actually log all the way out. Click on forgot password and email.
Okay, I just logged out. Let's see what happens here. All right, I'm going to get a new password. It's probably good anyway, because
unless you signed up under a different email address, is that possible? I mean,
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm going to get a new password here.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, the other thing we could do is if you can get these files recorded, we could do one more call or something and actually upload them on the call. I mean, that's something, or I'm just trying to think of, like, because I want you to get started. And then we also want to get you submitted to iTunes. So that's the other step, is once you have 3 episodes there, we have to then submit you to iTunes.
Wow. I want all kinds of things in this new password. Okay, Jesus. So simpler back then. Jesus.
Oh, they have. So that might be why you can remember it. Maybe they have all these rules. That happens to me sometimes. We have to have like 2 special characters.
Yeah.
Things like that, or 1 number, 1 special character, 1 capital letter.
All right. Okay, so my new password is the same as the other one. Capital WORTHEN 1953, and then add the @ sign and the pound sign at the end. And then put me back on the screen so I can see what you're doing.
So, okay. 1953 at pound.
Yeah.
I'll put you on in a second. Hang on.
Sure.
Okay, it worked. Cool.
Cool.
All right, here we go. So let me share. Okay, so we're in here.
Not on the screen yet. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Okay, yeah, it takes a
Okay.
second.
All right.
Okay. So again, I can go into publish. This is just a default file they put in there. But if I wanted to, and I'll actually could delete this because this is just their welcome kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And man, it is going slow. Okay. There we go. Yes. Okay. So now I go to the top right corner. So again, publish new episode.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to upload a file, and in this case, I'm actually going to look for the
Voice file.
The voice file, which I think is also in my downloads here. It'll just take a second to refresh. Come on. Yeah, it does. It's normally this isn't the order of the file, so I'm confused. It should be. Let me see. It's sort by date. Try this. All right, well, let's. There we go. Okay, well, there's the file.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So I'm going to grab that. I'm going to drag. I can just drag it, or I can do it either way. I drag it over. It'll take it, and it'll upload. So now it uploaded the file. So the next stage is I have to give it a name. So this might be.
Would this be the title if I said, Sales Techniques 101 or something, or is this something different when it's asked for the title?
No, this would be the title. So usually I'll give it like an episode name.
Uh-huh.
I might even call this like a bonus session or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was that video about? The narration?
It's one you did.
No, I grabbed the other one. I think I grabbed.
Oh, you grabbed the one from the video?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It was about communication.
Okay. So then this is what would go on iTunes. Would be this would be the name of the episode, and then this does too. The description also shows up there.
Hmm.
But I might just say like welcome. So I'll write something real fast. So I'd say like welcome to Dave Worthen's podcast. This is episode number 1, where we talk about I don't know. I mean, I'm just like putting something real quick here.
Sure.
For more episodes and for more, I probably have like something like for more information, check out our website. Put a link, and then I'd say for ideas and comments, connect on social media, and then I'd have all your social media platforms on the bottom here. So I'd have like, Facebook and Twitter and all that. So I do something like that, but that would be that. Then I'd come in here, and I mean, you could publish it because it's not connected to anything right now. But I'd click publish. If I click on it here, this is the default. So I don't know if did you set this up with the image and all that?
Yeah, that was a year ago. That was my next question: is what the hell do I do with this? I mean, it was just, you can tell I was trying to get this thing out, right?
Yeah. Well, this only shows up on Podbean. So again, your main goal is to get this on iTunes.
Okay.
So this image and all this is only on Podbean if somebody listens on Podbean.
Okay.
But the point is, so we have this. If I hit play, I think this was this is your audio track. Can you hear it?
Sometimes you have to take some
Can you hear that?
Wow. Okay. So
time to read.
we have in essence done what I asked, which is we've at least gotten a voice file to.
Yeah.
So, but now the thing is to get it to iTunes, right?
Yeah, but again, we want to have 3 of these files uploaded before we submit to iTunes. That's a general rule of thumb.
Okay. So I could do 3 blogs.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Okay.
Yeah, you should do 3 blogs, have those files ready. If you want to do one more call, we could then submit you to iTunes, and even if you want to do some minor editing, we could do that too. And then essentially, we have publish. Then we under settings is where we have iTunes. So I'd come into iTunes here. So the only things you'd have to do are you'd have to prepare this in advance. So like for homework, you can do this now. You should start. You should give your show a name. So this would be the title of your show would go in the feed ID here. So this is the title of your show. I would say whatever the title is, and then I would also put with Dave Worthen as part of the title. The summary would be what you're going to talk about. The author owner, I would put your name again. I would have it in both spots. It's good for search. Subtitle would just be a subtitle. You could put that in. I would put something there. This display. Have your email that connects to iTunes. And so this, you're going to have to, do you have an iCloud account? Because you're going to be required to have an iCloud account.
I think I do.
Okay.
I think I do. Yeah.
So you might want to dig that up too.
Okay.
Because you're going to need your password on your iCloud account. And if you...
Is that the same one I have with my iTunes where I can...
Yep, it would be. Yeah, so we basically need your iTunes login is what we need.
Okay.
Essentially, it runs through iTunes, so you have to have an iTunes account, and you have to have at least... Well, to have an iTunes account, you have to have a credit card on file. Whether you use it or not doesn't matter.
I do, because years ago, before Spotify, I did was listen to iTunes.
So that's how you do it. And then eventually, so you want to get quite a few episodes up before trying to go to Spotify. But if you go, again, I think I showed you this, but if you go to social share here, which is another feature, you can connect your podcast to Spotify right here. Mm-hmm. So my other client, Matt, he got his podcast up. It took about 5 weeks from when he applied for Spotify to when he got approved. So it took about 5 weeks. And he also had about 15 episodes up before he even applied. So I would recommend and I've heard, I had another person I met last week. I was at a podcasting conference, and they were having trouble getting approved by Spotify. So I would make sure to have more episodes there before applying here. But you can apply to iTunes right away. You can apply to Google Play right away.
let's go back to iTunes so I can just,
Yep.
before I go too fast. Okay, so after I fill out all of this, can you just walk me through everything, I guess, except clicking the link to get to iTunes, or were we there?
Yeah. So number one
And
is
and then will it be possible to take a look at like how it will look when it gets to iTunes?
yeah. Well, not necessarily. I mean, you have to have podcast. Okay. Well, I'll talk about that in a second here. So.
Okay.
The main thing is the only thing that displays on iTunes is you're going to have cover art for your podcast.
Right.
So there's one image you'll have to create, which will be essentially cover art for your podcast, and that
is that done inside Podbean or done inside iTunes?
It's done inside Podbean.
Okay.
So everything is done inside Podbean. Nothing is done inside iTunes.
Okay.
This website, podcastconnect.apple.com, is where you go when you're actually ready to submit to iTunes, and we'll come back to that.
Hold it. Okay, go back.
Yeah, we'll come back to that.
Okay, all right. I was going to take a picture of it. There's just so much to remember.
Okay. So this is pretty straightforward as far as the name of your episode. These are like meta tags again. All the information that's going to communicate to iTunes. The next thing will be your general. So the very top is that gear icon for general, and this is where your podcast art is going to go. So right now, if you submit it to iTunes, this sunset picture would be your cover art on iTunes.
I see. Okay.
So a couple things to consider here. The dimensions are 1400 by 1400 to 3000 by 3000, and it's a square. So if you're going to create cover art, you want to do a square image. Are you familiar with Canva? I think we talk about? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go into Canva, you can do custom dimensions.
Okay.
And let me just demo it real fast. If my computer will cooperate. Here we go. So if I go to Canva, in the upper right corner here, I can pick use custom dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd probably just do the 1400 by 1400 here.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there we go, 1400 by 1400. I'd click design. And then in here, I can create some kind of cover art. I mean, you can either hire somebody, you can do it yourself. But
is it good to have like an image of me as my cover art, or?
Yeah, you should be in the image at least.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would usually do. So I might have like a background. I might find some fancy.
One of my social media people said you should have like my picture on Facebook is the same as it is on LinkedIn, is the same as it is on Instagram, so people just get a consistency. I don't know if that's valid or not, but.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard that as much with the picture as, I mean, it makes sense to me. I mean, that way people know who you are for sure.
Right.
It's definitely true with like your URL. So like your LinkedIn URL and your Facebook, your page URL should all match. That's true for SEO.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine images are probably, there's some similarities there as well. So, I mean, you could go through here and find some text designs that you kind of like, and then you can play with them. I mean, this isn't a church thing,
right?
But I mean, I could get rid of that bottom part, and I could make this bigger. And again, for whatever reason. I don't know if it's a memory issue or what, but this is really slow.
Your computer's on Quaaludes today.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I mean, the point is, you can make this big, and then I would grab either an image of you, or if you have like a GIF file, meaning like you have a cutout, a transparent background of you. I would have. I usually would grab something like that, put that here, have the title up top, and that way it's a simple image that way. Let's see here. I guess I'll do this. So my client Matt. This image on the left, so the one on the left is the one as far as that goes to iTunes,
Mm-hmm.
and he hired someone to do that.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, so you could, but that's a good example. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
this is just a cutout of himself that he just blew up his face, and put it there, and then put the title, background, and then he also got a signature graphic made. So
That's classy. That's really good.
yeah, so he paid someone to do that. I don't know who he hired exactly and all that, but that's an example of one. So I mean, Canva obviously isn't going to be that quality level.
I could probably just get somebody from Fiverr to do something like that, right?
Absolutely, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I would recommend that. Because if you go to Fiverr, they have people that specialize in podcast art.
Yeah.
So you could even do a search for podcast cover art. You'll find people doing it. Just check the reviews, and
Yeah.
I think you'll find someone that can make a decent artwork. Same thing with like intro and outro for podcasts. So if you want a jingle or you want an intro or outro, they have people on Fiverr that do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's an option for you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to consider, because that's the only. I usually do recommend you have some kind of bumper on every episode.
Bumper meaning?
Meaning, like in the beginning of the episode, you're introducing. It's the same. It's like welcome to Dave Worthen's podcast.
All right.
On the show we cover this, and this, and here's the show, and that's it. That's like a bumper.
Okay.
So you'd have that with some music, probably some music underneath, and then on the back end you'd have some outro music usually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean by bumpers. Is we have like an intro music with maybe a voiceover, and then we have outro music.
Right.
And that's it. So you could go to Fiverr. I may have mentioned this, but there's a website called audiojungle.com. So,
Yeah, I went there I think I found my background music for my video from Audio Jungle. It cost like $20 or something. They were a little more pricey than I thought, but for $20, it's the perfect piece of audio that I needed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, what's cool, every month, if you go there too, on every month they give away one free music track.
Mm-hmm.
So I always go there, like actually new month right now. So they basically have like 5 different software programs. They have like, one of them is audio tracks, which are music tracks. One of them is like templates for video editing, things like that. But you can get one free file from all of their different services each month. So you might want to check it and see if they have a good definitely download the audio file every month. I do, and then I'll figure out something to use it for each month. And it's getting like a $19 file for free. So
right.
And they give you a license for it too, and everything. So you're above board.
Right.
I would check that out. Yeah, I mean you're paying a little bit more, but you're getting better music there. So you're going to get, I think. You can go to YouTube. YouTube has a whole website on royalty-free music.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a whole. If you Google YouTube royalty-free music, you'll find it. But I found that to be pretty slim pickings for things that I like. The other thing to look at is like Creative Commons. Are you familiar with that at all?
A little bit. That's where it's public domain. Is that?
Yeah, it's public. Yeah. It's public domain. And it takes a little bit more effort to search through there, but there's some good music tracks there that usually they'll just say you have to give credit, but you can use it for free, but you might have to give credit to the author, so you have to just put like a little blurb in the description of every episode.
Right.
Audio track comes from this person.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another option, because I've talked to a few different people that actually got their intro music from Creative Commons. So. And that's, again, something you could just Google Creative Commons. You'll find it.
Right. Okay.
So.
All right. So it looks like if I go and I'm going to have to go and kind of play around with Audacity just to kind of keep the gradient, right? Read a blog, get the blog saved, bring it over to Podbean, and then do 3 of those.
Yep.
And then do the cover art, and basically just get my kind of first, draft on iTunes. I mean, make it enough that I wouldn't be embarrassed, but it'd be at least like, okay, that was my first narrated video, and it was like, I thought it turned out pretty damn good.
Yeah.
It takes a lot more work than people think.
Oh, I know. Well, especially if you want to, especially if you want the different audio segments to match up with the video cuts and things like that.
Right.
So that takes a lot of work if you want the voice to match with the cuts.
Right. Yeah.
I've done a little bit of video editing, and I used to work with a video editor that was all he did. But he moved out of the country. But it was enlightening to watch that process and to learn a little bit about that. So
yeah, it's because when people say, "Oh yeah, just make a video," it's like, okay, I understand live video, that's different. But if you're really making something like that, was a presentation,
yeah,
and it was like, and then I'm doing it on Adobe Spark, which I like. I mean, there's other formats and stuff. It's just something was simple, but Adobe Spark has a tendency to crash in the middle of your editing.
You just gotta save it constantly.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So so now if you want it, like this is your voiceover episode here. You could either keep this or delete it. If you want to delete this ever, you just click the trash can icon, or you could highlight it and click the delete button, either one. If you want to edit it, so you're probably going to want to do this, you just click the little pen or pencil icon, and you can change. This is the title. These are the basic info.
On this basic info down here, who sees that? Where is that? Is that like on Amazon when you get to read about the book? Is that the same kind of thing?
If you go on iTunes, every time you open up an episode, this information will. So first you'd see like the different episodes, and then if you clicked on the episode, it would open up a separate page, and inside that separate page, you would see this.
Okay.
So this would be the description. It would show up everywhere. So this actually will be seen by people.
Okay. And then you got to make all these Facebook and LinkedIn things a link.
I would do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
It's just good for branding and getting people to connect with you on social. Right. So I would add your website. So I'd put your website somewhere here, and then I would put Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, at least the big ones. Put them there. And then that pretty much is what you would need to do to get this out there.
Okay.
Promotion's a whole separate ballgame, but I think you've already got a bit of a following. So if you just use your Facebook account, let people know you're launching a podcast that's essentially oftentimes just an audio version of the blog. It's also going to be, every now and then you might be doing interviews, things like that. Excuse me. I think that would work nicely for you.
Okay, and then let's say, okay, so let's take I did a survey, and it's funny, practically easily 90% of my clients, the first thing they do in the morning, within the first 5 minutes, they check Facebook. And if it's not within the first 5 minutes, it's while they're making their coffee. It's a huge percentage of people just in the first 5 minutes of their morning or while they're making their coffee, they check their Facebook feed.
Yeah.
Now, if I put my link, hey guys, for those of you who haven't been able to read my book, and if you want to hear me narrate the first chapter, click on this link. Is putting the link in my Facebook post the way to do that, or is there somewhere else that they can? Well, like when they get in their car, and they have their iPhone like me, and I go, okay, now where's that link to that little podcast from Justin? I notice that people that don't understand podcasting as a receiver are always saying like, where do I get your file? I've never listened to a podcast. They have these kind of like, what are the directions to the grocery store thing? Yeah.
So you could probably find, what's funny is you could probably find a video of somebody that's actually already done an explainer video on how to download a podcast on an iTunes, or on an iPhone. A lot of people have iPhones.
Right.
So it's interesting. Again, the guy, Matt, who my client, runs seminars, and when he's on stage, we spend like 30 minutes explaining how to download a podcast, and it's necessary. And then there's also a handful of 5 to 10 people that come to the back of the room and still need help. And that's okay. And that's just the reality of how it is. What I would do is you can have a direct link to iTunes on Facebook. What happens though is if you put a link in your post, your reach drops down a little bit. Anytime you have a link to anything on a Facebook post, you don't reach as many people
because they have to leave Facebook, right?
Yeah, but you
Right.
can put it in the comments too. So you could just have a big thing that says, check out my podcast, link in comments, and then that'll actually boost it a little bit. And then you can put the link in the comments and there's a direct link to iTunes.
You mean I could make a comment myself and put the link in there? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people do that. Yes.
Wow, that's like a secret of the secret code or something.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. No, but that's a lot of people do that to. Yeah. I want to, if I can get iTunes to open, I was going to show you, and I don't know if it's going to open because it usually runs slow even when I'm not sharing my screen. So
Sure.
We'll see if it'll cooperate with us. But I was going to show you that you can, let me close Audacity. Close this. Okay, so the point, if I search, and let's just say I'm going to search for Matt Brawning, my client. So this is what it looks like on iTunes. You've seen this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can see he has this graphic. Every episode just has the same graphic on every one. And if you want to, you can give every episode a separate image. I don't think that's necessary.
Right.
But so I'm in iTunes on a desktop, but what I can do is if I click, here it says subscribe. If I click the down caret here, I can share on Facebook right from here, or I could just copy the link. And that link, if I put it in Facebook, it'll automatically open up the if they have the podcasting link, it'll open, or the app, it'll open it up and go to the page. And if they don't, it'll open up their app store and ask them to download the podcast app. Okay. So this is what I would do. I would grab this link here.
Yep.
And then put that into Facebook, either in the main post or in the comments of a post, like I was.
And that gives you the most current link.
Yeah, this link will. This will be the only link. It won't change. It'll always be.
No. I'm saying when you say copy link, that will give you that episode 22, right?
Well, this goes to the show.
Oh, it goes to the show.
It goes to the show. So whatever is published, it'll just have the latest episode. Whatever the latest one is. Yeah. So that's all, and then you can, and then tell people to subscribe and review. So I mean, ultimately, you want to get as many reviews as possible. So he's up to 52 here, but you want to keep. Or he's got 29 written reviews and 52 star reviews. So those are different too. So you want to get as many of those as possible from your network. So this will help you get found. The more reviews you have, the more likely your podcast is to be found also. So so spend a little bit of time asking your network to like, review, and subscribe.
Okay.
So what else? What other questions do you have that we could cover here in the last couple minutes?
I was just thinking. I feel like I might be able to go out and play 9 rounds, 9 holes. I might shank a few. I might have to chase my ball, but I think. Well, the first thing, which is good, I got something to do, which is just go get back onto Audacity, which is where I left off before.
Okay.
I didn't know what to do from there. So now I know I can go in and just between now and the weekend, just practice making those 3 episodes, just like I made the video. It took me a week probably to make that video, and then make those episodes and then go do what you said, put it, go load it up in Podbean, go submit it to iTunes. And then
from there, once you have it, your 3 episodes done. Again, when you're submitting to iTunes, when you're submitting to anything, what you're doing is you're going to your settings, your general settings here, or actually it's your feed. So you're going to settings and you're going to your feed.
Right.
And you're grabbing, this is the link you want. This is your RSS feed. This is what it controls everything in your podcast. And then ultimately you're going to go to, again, this is the link we talked about, podcastconnect.apple.com.
Right. Let me just take a picture of that. I remember that one. Okay, good.
And this, you're going to log in with your iCloud account. So you have to have an iCloud account. So that's the same one that's connected to your iTunes. You're going to log in with that.
Right.
And let's see. This is a different show, but so then it's going to look something like this. But it's all you're going to do is when the first time you come on here, it'll just have one screen that says submit your RSS feed. You're going to do that, and it'll be a really simple copy and paste thing.
Right.
And then you just have to wait, 24 to 48 hours, and it should be approved within that time.
Okay.
So that's that's the extent of it. So the next thing is really for you is just recording episodes. And again, I would use Audacity. I would come in. So when you're in here, make sure your microphone make sure you're connected to the right microphone. This doesn't matter. That's just your playback. Whatever. If you're playing, whatever you're playing back through doesn't really matter. But yeah, just come in here and do that. I think this is fine. So yeah, just connect to the right microphone, press record, and just start recording. And if you make mistakes, whatever, that's okay. It's everything can be fixed in post production. But I mean, at the beginning, let's just get these done. And likely, if you're just reading a blog post, you'll probably be able to get through them pretty easily without making in a way that you don't need to do editing.
Right.
So you could just get it. You might still have an or an but that doesn't necessarily matter.
Right.
I would leave it in there. It's humanizing a little bit.
Right. Exactly.
If there's not too many of them. Yeah.
It's not a bedtime story. It's a blog.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. All right. Well, I started the hour, not sure where I was going, but now I know where I'm going. So.
Okay. Awesome.
Now I have my next steps, which is really what I needed, Justin. So I really appreciate that.
Cool.
And then I can just always, if I need some help. Is your hourly rate the same? What is it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you the same rate as today, which was whatever. I think it was 90.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So I'll give you the same rate as today.
Okay.
So I mean, my normal hourly rate is $100. So you're getting it at 90. But if you have all that ready, if you run into any problems submitting it to iTunes, if you decide you want to do some editing on one of those, you could reach out, and I could demo the editing process. You could actually give me the files. We could spend some time editing it over the call. And again, if you want to submit to iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, so most of those you could just Google and you'll find where to submit the RSS feed.
Right.
Pretty intuitive if you just use Google. But yeah, the big ones that the platforms that you want to submit to are, again, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. Those are the ones I recommend in the beginning. And then later on, I would submit to Spotify, and I would submit to iHeartRadio. But I would wait a little bit on both of those too.
Sure. Okay. Awesome.
Cool.
Well, thank you very much again.
You're welcome. Awesome. Well, great talking to you again, Dave, and
all right.
We'll wrap it up. So I'll talk. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Justin. All
Bye,
right.
Dave.
Talk to you later.
You too. Bye.